Hello, hello, my friends. AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink. Welcome back to my face and my card making space and more holiday cards. I didn't forget. I made a promise to try and do a holiday themed card video on the 25th of each month. But I also said on or around, because life is chaos. So here's my video for March. I pulled out this Mama Elephant Llama set. I bought this last year with the intent to use it for last year's holiday card series. Never got the chance to use it. And it's been like propped up, just waiting for me to use it. I don't know what, again, it's like some of the other things, like my obsession with the mushroom wafer dies and floral sets and things. I don't know what it is with llamas. Love them. They're goofy creatures. And I did a video last year, llama themed holiday cards using a stencil set. Loved it. So this one was fun. I did really, really simple alcohol marker coloring. And then I used like a 3D embossing folder. I pulled out some ribbon. I didn't use splatter. I know. I thought about it. I really thought about it. I really contemplated it, but I'll make up for it next time. Anyway. As always, everything I used will be listed and linked in the description box below the video. My links are affiliate links. That just means that if you click on one of my links and end up placing an order, I do get a little kickback from that at no extra cost to you. That is what helps pay the bills, keeps the heaters going, all the things. And then in the end screen, I'll post my playlist that I will continue to add to of this year's holiday cards, because I do hope to continue this each month, at least once a month, doing a video, making holiday cards, so that I don't feel so rushed when the real holiday card season, approaches, because, yeah, it can get a little overwhelming. So this has been fun. So that's it for the chatter. Let's get into making the cards. Not only did I make a holiday card, I made multiples. Yay me. Because, as usual, I couldn't settle on just one of these critters to use. I needed to use all of them. So I've got some Simon Says Stamp Smooth White 120 pound cardstock, put it in my MISTI, and then I took all the images from this Llama set. I love it. I love it. Took all the images and I'm going to stamp them with Simon's Intense Black ink, which is alcohol marker friendly. Another thing, like as I'm editing this video, really, this set does not have to be holiday. This could be birthday. This could be anything. Like they're llamas in they're llamas in sweaters. So yeah, these could be like any occasion. You want to send someone a silly little card with a goofy llama in a sweater? Do it. Love it. Anyway, I took the little heart image and I stamped that more times because it's always fun to add little hearts to cards. And then for my coloring, like I said, I kept it simple. I used my Copics this time and I did everything as just a 2-color blend. That's it. I didn't go overboard. I kept the llamas themselves simple, even though they do come in many beautiful colors. You could have fun. You could make one black and you could do brown and spots and all things. Llamas they're eclectic, but I kept it again just simple since I was doing multiples. And the coloring, very simple. This is super sped up in editing. I do not color this quickly. Even then, it did not take that long. I think it took me less than 30 minutes to color in all these images because I just really made sure to just simple. Stop overthinking it. It's not necessary, especially these like sweaters, which it's another one of those things where these look very intimidating, to color because there's a lot going on. But actually, it's images like that are the easiest because you just got to fill it in. You don't need to worry about, having multiple markers, doing any fancy blending, anything like that. Don't even bother, honestly. You can if you want. If you really want to like build depth and dimension and, that's something that you really enjoy, go for it. Have fun with it. But if that intimidates you or you're just feeling overwhelmed, just fill it in. Whether you're using markers, color pencils, like whatever, I don't think it's going to matter. Because the detail is just there. So all you got to do is fill it in. Pick a bunch of colors. have fun with it. Or make it all one color. And then the stamped pattern will just be the pattern, and it's all just one color though. That would work too, you know? And I say all these things to also remind myself, because that's also, I think, why I was putting off using this set after I bought it. I was like, oh, it's going to be a lot of work coloring these sweaters. Honestly, it didn't take that long, and it was fun. And like, look at them. Like, as the color gets added in, how silly they look. And I got a thing for critters, and put critters in little outfits, and I'm there. I'm here for this. So I just worked my way around. I ended up doing like a rainbow of colors. And again, just 2 color blends. I could have done just one, especially for like all the sweaters. They don't really even need a 2 color blend, but it does give it a little smidge of an extra something. But could have just used 1 marker, for each color blend, and that would have been fine. So once I was done coloring, I used my Nuvo Aqua Shimmer pen, which when I'm applying it, it looks like nothing on camera. But at the end, I will use my flashlight to show, because, oh, the sparkle, that just gives it that extra something. So the only thing to remember is, while alcohol markers like Copics, Olos, etc. are not water reactive, Red is a fugitive pigment. It likes to do what it wants. So even though these markers technically don't smear when you add something water-based on top of them, the red is always an exception to the norm. So I did end up like smearing a tiny bit of it, but it ended up being fine. I wasn't too worried about it. It's just something to keep in mind. So after I added the shimmer pen, I let everything dry, and then I went in with my white gel pen. I've mentioned this many times. White gel pen is always my last step, because quite often that is something that will smear. So if I'd done the white gel pen first and then went over it with the shimmer pen, I've had the shimmer pen like fully dissolve the white gel pen and just smear it everywhere. It just made a mess. So I always let everything just fully dry, and then white gel pen is just my last step. It just saves me the aggravation. So I added little random like highlights here and there, added a few little stripey patterns on, the gift wrap and things like that, just to build that little bit of interest. And then once I was done with all of that, I used the coordinating wafer die set, die cut everything, set it aside. And then I grabbed several cardstocks from my stash and just cut strips from them. And mostly eyeballed it. Doesn't have to be perfect. If you want them to be exact, like there's wafer dies, and I know I have them. Do I know where they are? Not 100%. But I do have wafer dies at die cut strips. I need to pull those out, because that would be convenient for this too. Anyway, I've shown this in a couple other videos, doing this little, I guess, technique, method, whatever you want to call it. And any cardstock is going to work. Just depends on your color combo, things like that. So I did, of course, a rainbow to go with their rainbow sweaters. And then I've got copy paper here, specifically copy paper, super thin. I don't want cardstock, because the cardstock strips I'm using, all of those cardstocks are heavyweight, like minimum 100 pound. And so I want to go on copy paper. The only way I would see this working is if you were using very thin cardstock, like 65 pound weight, that really thin stuff to layer. But I purposely do this separately, like the paper strips on the copy paper, because of the weight of the cardstock. So I emboss these separately. So on the copy paper, I just applied tape runner, and then I adhere all of these paper strips in rainbow order. Did it on an angle, because that just looks better in my opinion. And then I can trim off the excess. The longer pieces I can keep for another project. And then I cut away the excess copy paper on the top and the bottom, especially because of the like adhesive sticking out, things like that. So that's where a good pair of like non-stick scissors come in really handy. You could use liquid adhesive for this, but I actually find specifically with this is one of the times where the tape runner is just so much more convenient. And then I repeat this on all the other pieces with the paper strips. So I've got these little rainbow pieces, and then I've got an A2 panel of white cardstock. And it's the same heavyweight white cardstock. And I'm running that through my Empress machine with Simon Says Stamps Shimmer Lattice 3D embossing folder. Love it. It's just fabulous. And then that paper strip that I did on the copy paper, I run that through separately. So I line it up where I'm going to want it to line up on my card front and run that through. And the reason I do that separately rather than adhering all those paper strips to the white cardstock is because that would make it really heavy, really thick, and I don't want to risk like bursting my embossing folder. I just find that this is so much easier. Plus I get this weird satisfaction, just how it clicks into place. I like it. It's satisfying. Don't ask me why. But yeah, because I work again with really heavy cardstocks, this works the best. If you're using thinner cardstocks, you probably could just adhere the paper. Another option is to like mask off strips, and you could ink blend if you don't have a lot of color cardstocks. It'll be just a slightly different look, but it would work. I honestly thought about doing it for these, but this is faster. Doing the paper strips is faster, but you could totally just use mask off stripes and then do a quick little ink blend, and that would be super fun too. So after I adhered those, clicked them into place onto each of those backgrounds, I did end up deciding to trim these down a bit. They were originally A2 sized, and I trimmed these down to 3 3/4 by 5 inches. Yeah, so that the card base will frame it up real nice. And I also pulled out the Mama Elephant Fave tag set. There's another one I purchased, I don't even know when. Last year, the year before, I forget when this came out. Everything's still available that I'm using. And I took the largest tags from that set and I die cut some cream cardstock and some sea glass cardstock. And then I just offset them a little bit just to give it that little extra bit of dimension and adhered them together. And then I pulled out some of my May Arts ribbon. This is like OG hardcore, we were using this stuff, almost 20 years ago. And I've mentioned this. I've used a few in more recent videos, this sheer ribbon with the polka dots. This is some of the ribbon that I kept because I have full rolls of this stuff. And I've had this stuff for like 15 years, I think. I don't even know. And yeah, it's making a resurgence in my craft room because, I was like, it's just sitting there. Let's use it. So I ran that through the holes of the tags and then tied it in a little bow and then trimmed off the tails. And I've got my cute little polka dot ribbon bows for all of these little tags. And then the tags, I'm going to just adhere to the embossed backgrounds. And I just put my magnets on top of these because I'm adhering on top of like quite a bit of texture because of that 3D embossing folder. So I'd adhere it into place with the craft tacky glue. And then I just put one of my magnets on top of it just to hold everything down, as you can see there on the screen, and let that dry. And then all my little critters and the little accessories, I'm going to adhere with thin foam squares. The sentiment is from that stamp set. I just white heat embossed that onto black cardstock. I thought I was filming, but I wasn't when I did it. But same old. White heat embossed it. And then I just trimmed them down into little sentiment strips with my paper trimmer. And then I popped those into place with the thin foam squares as well. So all the cards will say, deck the halls with Llama joy. And then on the insides of the cards, my card bases are going to be A2 size, so 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. And these are from the same cream cardstock I used to layer behind the tags. And on the insides of the cards, I'm going to stamp each of the llamas using Simon Says Stamp's Cookie Positively Saturated ink. So I'm going to stamp a llama on the inside of each card. And then I stamped the other sentiment from the set, and I'll show that at the end, that says, wishing you a llama amazing holiday season. Stamped that with black ink, and that finished off the insides. And then once the insides were stamped, I put Simon's Big Mama foam tape on the back of these panels, just again to give it that little bit of dimension, not a lot of bulk, and peeled off the backing, and then popped these onto each of their cards, making sure to match up the llama that I stamped on the inside. And then as my final bit of embellishment, these are the Simon Says Stamp Cottontail embellishment mix, and just put a few of these little confettis around each of the tags, picked them up with my little embellishment wands, and then adhered them with dabs of craft tacky glue, and that finished off the cards. So they're rainbow and cute and glittery. I'll show you guys right now with my little flashlight, because yeah, that Aqua Shimmer pen just always looks like nothing till you see the glitter. How fun is that? So they're glittery and fabulous. Totally suited for llamas, in my opinion. These were fun. These were just fun. I've mentioned this before in years past. I kept meaning to do like holiday cards throughout the year, and it's really hard for me to get in that mindset. But ones like this, I had a blast making these, and I made several, obviously. So just building up my stash. I'm loving it. These were just, I had just like the biggest grin on my face the whole time making these, because how can you go wrong with these little critters? And then yeah, the embossed background, and I used up some, well, used a little bit of my ribbon, you know, made a teeny dent in that stash, and yeah. So like I said, all the links will be to everything in the description box below the video. I'll link to the holiday playlist in the end screen at the very end for anyone who's interested. Thank you all so very much for hanging out with me, for thumbs upping and commenting. It helps a ton. I really appreciate it. And I will see you all very soon in the next video. Bye. Thank you so much to my amazing Patreon supporters. For anyone that might be interested in joining my Patreon community and supporting me, the link to my Patreon is in the description box below the video. For everyone else, as always, thank you all so much for taking the time to watch my videos, for thumbs upping, commenting, subscribe if you haven't, I'd love to have you. And here's a couple other videos for you to check out in case you missed them. Bye!